What's up, my pugnos? Andy with Andy Vlogs. Excited to share with you guys more content here about the new iPhone 12 that just came out. I don't have the Pro or the Pro Max yet. I will be reviewing them as they come, but I wanted to clarify things on my original video. You'll be able to see it up in the cards regarding why I switched from Android to iPhone. There's 5 big reasons why I did. Now, the big push for me to go to iPhone was when Google moved all their services, or in other words, Apple allowed them to have all their services on there. Let's talk granular. Let's talk more of the nuances of iPhone that's different from Android, and this will give you a better picture of why. Now, this is probably going to cater to a minute few of you, those who regularly put out content online on social media, who use your phone to create. Otherwise, this may not even apply to you. If you're into gaming and you're just looking to watch YouTube and Netflix, it may not be a no-brainer. For those who are creators who want maximum productivity and the best computational photography, this is where it's at. So the 5 best things that I would say that help me move from Android to iPhone is 1, productivity, moving in and out of apps, multitasking, uploading, simultaneously downloading, doing all the things that you would do as a creator, creating thumbnails, etc. It is the best on iPhone. Face ID, as crazy as it is, as simple it is, being able to look at it and swipe to unlock is huge. There's no more fingerprints. There's no more misses. It's very, very consistent. Nextly is the camera. There's 3 aspects of the camera app that are phenomenal that I need to go into. Optical image stabilization, portrait mode, and computation photography. Those are 3 huge aspects of the camera app that are so much better on iPhone than on Android. Lastly, the ability to make movies and high quality movies on your phone is so much better than Android. Samsung stopped supporting their native app for making movies, and I don't know why. I do use a third party as well called InShot, which is really good, but iMovie is fantastic and lets you edit and export HDR. We'll talk about that. I'm going to try to illustrate this the best I can. Here's the iPhone. Here's my Android. This is a 2019 Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. We're going to talk about productivity, meaning the way that you go in and out of apps, the way that things boot, the way that things process, the way the screen refreshes and whatnot. Here we go. Camera, home, home, camera, home, YouTube. I didn't load YouTube on this one. We're going to go into an app, home, then I'm going to go to photos, home, then I'm going to go to the last app. This isn't good. I don't know how to show it better. It's pretty difficult to be able to show the productivity because it's after a long time that you're using it. But as you're clicking, swiping, and tapping on your Android, it's not as fluid. But on the iPhone, when you're doing those simple swipes and swipes up to go home, it's so smooth. There's no interruption. It feels like it's like water and fluid. I feel like the Android's like fire, where it'll go like this way and that way and go fast here. All in all, what I'm saying is the productivity is much faster. Let's show you what Face ID looks like. Okay. So it's not near me. There we go. Unlock. Wow. It's not near me. Now it's near me. You have to have that right angle. There we go. And it's where my... What's annoying is when you go there's a sweet spot that you have to do it. See where the notifications are? It won't open unless I go all the way from the bottom to the top. I don't like that. I'd like to be able to have it tap and swipe open, but it won't. So it's all user error. It does go super fast. With this, I have to turn the power on and then swipe. And it hiccups. See that? It's not as fast. boom, it took a couple of times. Otherwise, I have to push my thumbprint randomly. I've gotten to the point where I'm used to it, but that's the thumbprint. It's not so fast. Let's go into the camera right now. So, optical image stabilization is incredible. We're going to go photo first, and I'm going to show you, first of all, the optical image stabilization. So we zoom out, and you're getting really good 13 millimeter optical image stabilization. This is in camera. Let's go 13 millimeter. You're not getting any stabilization. Okay, let's go 1x. Stabilized. Look at that. You're getting like screen tear. The camera can't even keep up with me moving because of the image stabilization that it's trying to do. But on the iPhone, it's just buttery smooth. It's keeping up. The 2x uses the telephoto lens, so the third lens on my Samsung. And this has a little bit better optical image stabilization. This one I notice is much better. Here is the iPhone. It's keeping very good optical image stabilization. You can see my hand is shaking, but it's keeping the subject definitely in stabilization. Same with this. So it's that telephoto lens that does a lot of the work there. Let's go into the video now. Video's the biggest. So under the video, look at this zoom. So you go from 5 all the way to 3. Look how smooth that is. That's how a SLR mirrorless camera should be. You should be able to move super smoothly. And look at this. Look how much I'm shaking. And it keeps it super optical stabilized. That's because both lenses are stabilizing physically, not digitally. Now, granted, this is a year old, but it's the same software, same hardware. If we go like this, grab and zoom, look at that. Oh, that's so hard. Look at that lag. Going from the third lens, this is the tele lens, to the first lens, you can see that. Look, you can see it switch. See that? It's a clear switch. So this is the super wide tele. You can tell. You can see it transition. That's the biggest frustration when I'm making movies. Look at this. It's terrible. iPhone, liquid, butter smooth. Right there. You can tell when it changes from the ultra wide to the wide. You can tell there's a little parallax. But when you're zooming in super fast, there's no problem. Same thing with the photo. The photo can go 5x. So we'll go from 13 millimeter all the way to 5x. Look at that. That is so smooth. That's huge. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's talk about portrait mode now. Portrait mode is the same as live focus. Live focus on Android, portrait mode on iPhone. It's just completely different, but you get like this weird, you get this unnaturalness to it. Because you can see it's hyper sharp on the subject, and then right when you get the crossroads, there's some weird focusing going on. And then it goes to the natural blur. So there's like this mid blur that you can tell it's like right here where there's an unnatural blur. It's a digital blur, and then you get the lens itself. Let's look at the iPhone. The iPhone didn't do so much of a dramatic blur in the background, but look at that. You can see there's no issue. You've got the subject in crisp focus, then it gradually blurs. There is a little static because this isn't as low of an f-stop, but you don't get that like tiered blur. It's a straight up blur, and it's done so well because of the computation photography. I mean, that's all I have to say about that. So, with that said, the last thing I want to talk about was iMovie. I'm not going to show you a tutorial on how to do iMovie, but I did find some interesting tidbits. Within iMovie, there is a way that you can output by taking away the HDR. HDR is really weird. It's a new codec. It's the Dolby Digital HDR, where you have the Dolby Plus or whatever. It's that movie codec that most cinematography is shot in. It's no good for online content creating because none of the websites have the ability to play it back, and so you get a really overexposed shot. So I recommend turning it off. So I'm going to show you how you do that. It's pretty simple. You have to drill into some of the settings of the camera, and you can turn it off, turn it on. And then when you're exporting on iMovie, you can turn it off as well, and I'll show you how to do that. Alrighty, you want to go into your camera app, and from here, you're going to go into formats. It's going to be auto set to high efficiency. That's going to allow you to capture in every single different format that you can, but I turn it to most compatible because it turns your pictures into this weird HEIF format instead of JPEG, and then it changes all of your video into this HEVC format instead of H.264. That will restrict your ability to do 4K, but I mean, that's a 4K 60, but that's okay. For further turning off HDR, you want to go into the record video. You want to pull down here and you want to turn this HD video toggle off. You can see now that all of these different video functions are now under high efficiency. That's going to put it under that weird codec instead of H.264. Turn it off. It will not restrict everything but the 60 frames a second. I also want to turn off the auto FPS. It does some weird stuff with the video when you're trying to output into Adobe Premiere Pro. Next, slow-mo. You will have your 240 FPS restricted. It doesn't matter. No one really shoots in that. Just shoot 1080 60 or 1080 120. That's not a big deal. Then you can continue scrolling down. I like to keep it on camera mode. Creative controls off, exposure adjustment, and live photo, I turn those off. I don't like live photo. That's about that. So that's how you change the HDR within the app. Now exporting into iMovie, if you go into iMovie and then you go the export button, you go here into options. And this is where you can turn off HDR. This is how you're going to be able to output in the normal codec and not have it looked all weird. You have your video type all the way to 1080p HD. So that's how you go ahead and turn off HDR if you want to. Well, Pungios, that is it. That does it. Those are all the best features, the reasons why I moved from Android to iPhone. With that said, folks, all in all, I think it's worth it. It's a great move. If you're a creator like me, if you want to make good content, I highly recommend moving to the iPhone 12. Check down below for ways that you can help the channel. Thanks so much for your time. Andy with Andy Vlogs signing out.